The West, the NBA Emirates Cup, it continues tonight with the Lakers looking to extend their undefeated streak in the tournament. The Lakers, they're 7-0 last season on their way to winning the inaugural championship, and then they defeated the Spurs in their opening game this year. But Perk, you say that there's one Laker that needs to do what now?
You remember when I walked in here today? You remember what I told you what our MO is today? We standing on business. We standing on business. I need you to stand on business. We still standing on business. I need you to stand on business. Hey, Adam Silver, standing on business. The message tonight is the 76ers. And damn it, they got to stand on business. Richie, you're not a part of this because damn it, I'm standing on business even more. Bam!
All right, Park, who needs to stand on business? Why are you cheating like that, bro?
Cause I just love the whole standing on business. You know what? And it's a shame we haven't bought standing on business one time this season. But we here now. We're here now. Listen. We know that JJ Redick, LeBron, and AD, they've been standing on business since the season started, okay? But I'm looking in another direction right now with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm looking at their rookie, a guy that they drafted in 2024, a guy that's been averaging over 20 points per game the last 3 games, a guy that dropped the 27-piece in their last game on the back-to-back against the Pelicans. I'm looking at Dalton Connect. Why? I'm looking at him to stand on business tonight because now he's in the starting lineup. Damn it, you earned this right. I know Rui Hachimura has been out because of injury, but don't give it back. And you know how you don't give it back? By continue to go out there and put up numbers and play like Dalton Connect has been playing. I heard what JJ Redick told Matt Christie after the San Antonio game. Hey, when you play like that, I don't want to take you out the game. That's the same energy he needs to keep with Dalton Connect. That's the same energy Dalton Connect need to keep JJ Redick with when he's in the starting lineup.
Well, Dalton connected for 27 points against the Pelicans last game. But when you look at this stretch, the Lakers rattling off a couple in a row now, what did you learn about them here?
Well, the big move that JJ Redick made was bringing Dalton Connect in the starting lineup, which, as Perk said, has worked really well. And also, D'Angelo Russell going to the bench has embraced the role and has played his best stretch of basketball. One of the things they had issues with was getting production off the bench. Lakers are getting that production from both their starter and from D'Angelo Russell. Got to beat the Jazz any day you play them in the Western Conference. The next 3 games for the Lakers are tough. Need to win tonight for NBA Cup reasons and to get this winning streak.
Yeah, to get back to the Cup. This is almost, I hate to say it because it's early and we're like 12, 13 games in, but it is a
group of death.
Group of death. Must-win game.
I think that they're in the group of death light. I think the Warriors group is.
There's
like a couple. There's tiers here.
Look, the only thing I have to add is this starting lineup is working. 91 points last game. You don't move that. You don't shake that. And again, like when we started off the season, we knew LeBron James was capable of triple doubles. We knew Anthony Davis was capable of being an MVP, but they needed some connection with the rest of the group. Yeah. 3-point shooting has been an issue. Dalton has connected, and then also Reeves has done a good job. I think he had 7 assists last game, passing the ball around. What you like about that, Perk?
I just am loving it. The amount of times we can connect the dots here is really doing it for my punny self.
Diet group of death.
Diet?
You can today by our senior writer, Brian Windhurst. We have Glinda the Good over here, Shanae Agumake, Kendrick Perkins, our resident big man, beaming in from home. I'm Malika Andrews, and we're going to preview this must-see Cup matchup tonight, particularly the one that we have in Boston. But first, I think we need to head to Miami, friends, where the Sixers' lackluster start to the season continued. Jimmy Butler made his return after missing 4 games. Embiid also in the lineup after being listed as doubtful for most of the day with an illness here, Chanae. So we're going to pick this one up in the second quarter. The Sixers start off leading this one. Jaren McCain finds Joel Embiid here for the mid-range jumper.
Yeah, that's what he can make in his sleep. You have to keep your eye on explosive plays because that's what was lacking when it came to his game.
And then kicking it back out to Joel Embiid. Joel looking for the 3 here. Brian nails it.
That's the Joel Embiid we saw all last year. This was not the Joel Embiid we saw most of last night.
To that point, let's go ahead to the third quarter here. The Heat down by just 3 now. Butler, look at him in the corner there, knocking down a 3 of his own.
Are we yay or nay on the hair?
I think Wendy should try it.
Yay.
I'm yay too.
The Heat turn over the 76ers here, get out and run, and then Hero recovers right there. And then Jared McCain, once again, Tyler Hero takes it all the way for 2 the other way.
Great
Tough finish. Look at this. The 76ers were outscored by 19 points in the third. That's their season worst point differential. Hero had 18 points.
Didn't get better.
Yeah, it did. To finish one off, Janae, Jimmy Butler takes it to the rack.
Two teams with two different trajectories. They had the same opportunity, missing star players that come back, and one team took the best of it, like with Jimmy Butler there, and another team got the worst of it.
Butler had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Jimmy's telling them right there to go home. Here was Nick Nurse after the game, but it took a while.
Sorry for the delay. We just had a little meeting, so I just took a little bit longer than normally get here. Won't get into specifics of that meeting, but happy to answer any questions about the game.
Let's get into the specifics of that meeting right now, though, with our senior insider, Shams Charania, because it took over an hour for the team to speak to reporters, Shams, after the game. And just for some context, it's usually like 15 minutes before we see folks start to come out and speak to us. So what more can you tell us about this team meeting that Nurse was alluding to here?
Kyle Lowry, their championship guard, he's the one that called for this team meeting after the game. It included players, included coaches. It was an hour and a half of everyone, all sides, airing out what they felt was urgent matters, call to actions on both sides. Nick Nurse challenging the players for having more attention to detail in practices during the games, and then the players also challenging Nick Nurse to hold them more accountable. But the most notable thing, Malika, sources tell me Tyrese Maxey challenged Joel Embiid, the face of that franchise, the former league MVP, about his tardiness and about being on time for team activities and the trickle-down effect that takes place when a player like Joel Embiid is late or absent or whatever the case may be for any team event or activity, and how that could impact other players and coaches. And they have a very close relationship, Malika. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's really taking Tyrese Maxey under his wing. They hold each other accountable. In this way, Tyrese Maxey tried to do that last night as a leader. This is a team that's 2-11. Yeah. They're still hopeful to get Tyrese Maxey back in the lineup soon. But time is running out here for them to really turn this around.
Yeah, when you look at historically teams that have started out the way that the 76ers had, many of them don't make the playoffs, let alone make it to the finals, which is what this team was put together to do. Shams, thank you so very much for those details. I want to bring in the rest of our panel here because, Kendrick, you've been, right, in these sorts of team meetings before. What do you make of all of this?
Well, number one, it's a team meeting and not a worldly meeting, so the information shouldn't have got leaked out. So there's no trust in this process, right? Number two, good for Tyrese Maxey for calling out Joel Embiid, right? I played with 15 plus Hall of Famers, and look, none of them was perfect, but all of them was true professionals, right? And all of them were leaders in their own right, meaning showing up on time, respecting the coach. That's the most important thing, because when you're late to the event, when you're late to practices or whatever it may be, it's disrespectful to the coach, and it tends to send a message throughout the locker room that others could be disrespectful. So shout out to Tyrese Maxey for calling them out, because in order for the Sixers to go where they're trying to go, Joel Embiid has to be held accountable all across the board.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. No matter whether you are playing or not, right? When you're the star, you set the standard. And in this case, with Joel Embiid and the Sixers, it feels like we've been receiving mixed messages externally, and now we've just found out that there are mixed messages also internally. And I think that sort of trickled into what we have heard per Shams, because if you see Joel Embiid yesterday, clearly he's not his full self. He averages in the 3 games, 15 points per game, shooting 32% from the field. But when you are going through those types of slumps, you have to go above and beyond to show your team that we're committed to digging ourselves out of this hole. And I feel like I'm right there with you, Perk. Tyrese Maxey being able to step in, hold him accountable is exactly what you need to sort of fix this situation, because this is rock bottom. It's absolutely rock bottom for this squad. They have to start building upon the good that they can have both on the court, but more importantly, it seems like it has to start off the court, and hopefully this is a turning point for all of them.
Losing a game in Miami isn't the end of the world. Losing a game where you get up by 19 and fall down is what's concerning, especially after they just gotten boat raced the game before in Orlando. To get boat raced in the second half of back-to-back games, that shows a lack of team spirit. And I'm not even worried about the record, Malika, because they're in the Eastern Conference. And so, like all of these years, the East wasn't bad in all those years. So while that's relevant to show on a graphic, I don't care about it. I care more about the team spirit and about something else. There's something else that makes me more worried than any for this team.
Which is what?
Which is the way Joel Embiid looks. You know, when you look at his, the way he's moving on the court, and you talk to scouts.
Yeah.
Like, they're like really concerned, like, what's going on with this guy? Like, when this guy would get the ball in the triple threat position last year.
Right.
You were cooked. You were cooked. This is a guy who averaged more points than minutes played a year ago. He is averaging 20 fewer points per game. 20 fewer points per game. Okay. The other thing is, last night he didn't get to the foul line.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the foul line. This is a guy who would put the ball on the court, and you didn't have anything to do with it. You had to foul him. So, regardless of the record, if Joel Embiid can't rebound, and by the way, all the way down the line, Paul George doesn't look good, Kyle Lowry doesn't look good, Andre Drummond doesn't look good, but if Embiid can't rebound, I mean, in every sense of the word, they're going to have big trouble.
Let's focus in more on Joel Embiid here. How did he look to you, Perk?
Oh, how do he look, huh? Now people are concerned the way that Joel Embiid looks. But when I said last year that he should shut down and not come back for the postseason, people were looking at me like I had chitlins and pig feet on my face. At the end of the day, I told y'all what was going to happen because they didn't have a plan in place. He doesn't look healthy. He doesn't have lift. He can't move in the pick and roll. We're watching this. But again, you go out and you get Paul George for what reason? Because you know you can't depend on the health of Joel Embiid. We didn't know that Tyrese Maxey was going to go out. So now, can you elevate your game? Again, at the end of the day, yes, Joel Embiid does need to play better in order for Philly to win games, but it would be unfair for us to sit up here and say that that Philly should rely heavy on Joel Embiid when our eyes tell us that he can't move.
Well, more than just this week or this month, because again, 2-11 record, Tyrese Maxey hasn't been playing. Shams said he could be back within this week. It's fine. On September 20th, today is November 19th. Roughly 2 months ago, 76ers gave Joel Embiid a 3-year, $190 million contract extension to the 2 years he had left on his contract.
Right.
He's got to show that he can be healthy. Like, that's my concern right now. I honestly don't care whether they're in 11th place or they're in 7th place or whatever. Joel Embiid's got to show he's healthy. Otherwise, we're all messing around.
But in order to do so, you have to be honest with yourself. And right now, Philly is under pressure due to public perception. Because we have been questioning what's going on with him. We're doing the eye test. This guy probably is not 100%. Then why is he out there? And I feel like if we were just honest about the circumstance, which it seems like they're trying to manage something in this process, they've created this big problem where if you were just honest, he's not ready to go, then you won't have to deal with the pressure of putting him out there when he's not 100%.
Right.
This problem was of their own creation in some ways.
I think a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were saying, okay, but we haven't seen their big three together. We haven't seen Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid take the floor. And now I'm just wondering, is a healthy Tyrese Maxey enough if this is the version we're going to get?
Like, in the standings, yes. If you look at their schedule coming up, it's not undoable. And with where the East is, they could basically have 2 good weeks and be in 6th place.
Right.
So, yeah, they can recover. And by the way, in 2 months, Joel may be back to his normal self, maybe bouncing around. When we say, oh, remember how we were worried about November?
You say no way?
No way. I don't expect Joel Embiid to be healthy for the rest of this season. I don't think he'll be 100% for the rest of his career. It's something going on there. It's just something going on.
Again, 2 months ago, they gave him a $190 million contract. If they thought there was something going on, they wouldn't have given it to him.
Yeah, and I think at this point, it's like, is it something he should be playing through? Are we better off making sure we wait a little bit longer and not deal with this pressure and make sure when he's out there, he can be that guy we've seen?
On paper, even though Dame had a little bit of an off shooting night, he was able to get the most important bucket of the game. And it's a Tuesday. I'm feeling kind of good, Brian. Is there a reason to be optimistic about Milwaukee?
Yes, because do you feel that 5-8 record being in like 8th place in the Eastern Conference? Because that's number one reason is that when you're the Bucks, if you're 5-8, you're on a, genuine hot streak in the East. And I got 3 more reasons.
Oh.
Number 1.
You came with
Number
receipts.
2, I guess. Giannis is playing spectacular. He's averaging 30 and 12. Highest points he's ever had, most rebounds in 5 years. Number 3. Brooke Lopez
Yes.
waking up. Brooke Lopez
Yes.
got off to a terrible start to the season, looked really old the first 2-3 weeks. He has rebounded nicely. And number 4, don't forget about Chris Middleton. He will come back eventually, and he will help this team. And you win 5 games in a row in the East, you might as well make plans for the finals.
I mean, those reasons for optimism, that was longer than a CVS receipt. I'm feeling pretty good about this now. What do you think, Perk? Should we keep the good vibes going?
I'm not. I have zero reasons, okay?
Zero.
Why I feel optimistic about the Bucks. They beat a Houston Rockets team that was coming in by 1 point, that was coming in off a back-to-back. And I can't harp on this enough. When you have Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, your goals is to win championships, not just to get into the postseason and be in the Eastern Conference, be in the weak Eastern Conference and make it to the playoffs. Here's the thing. They still have to address the problem at hand. The most important position in the NBA is the wing position. They need wings, and I'm not talking about from Wingstop. They need some guys that's going to defend on the perimeter. They do not have that. We don't know how Chris Middleton is going to come back off those 2 ankle surgeries. But if you look across the league, all the contenders, the legit title contenders, have defensive-minded wings that can slide those pucks.
I will play tiebreaker between Wendy and Perk.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm with Wendy
Another win.
here. I'm sorry, my brother from another mother. I'm sorry, because if you're talking about what they need defensively, we saw signs of that yesterday. They held the Rockets to 9 of 32 shooting from 3. I know they're not the best 3-point shooting team, but still that's impressive. And also, more importantly, they held them to .400. 40% shooting from the floor.
I was glad you made that conversion.
It was a
Thank
number
you.
in my head.
400. Also,
Yeah, good job.
400.
That's what they need to do. A lot of times, Dame and Giannis get a lot of the credit, and they're going to put up Herculean efforts, right? But this team will go as far as Brooke Lopez goes. This team will go as far as Gary Trent Jr. goes. Those guys have to have consistent efforts, and they had that yesterday for them to be successful. So those are signs of them getting the contributions and, most importantly, the defense that they need.
Yeah.
Sorry, Perk.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sorry.
Perk's turtlenet's just looking a little tight today. It's I think that's what's.
We have to go to break, Perk, so I don't think you can respond.
The NBA Cup, it continues Friday night, Perk. Let's jump, which means 12 teams trying to get to Las Vegas for the chance to become the second ever NBA Cup champs. It's going to be a little bit tougher, though, for the Nuggets and the Spurs, as Jokic and Wemby, they have been ruled out for tonight's games. But let's just remind folks how the first week of Cup action went down. Let's start in the West, shall we? Because we have the Rockets, the Blazers, the Thunder, the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Pelicans. All of them are undefeated in group play thus far. There is still plenty of time, though, for those other teams to get out of their group. And how about the East, you might ask? Well, let's take a little look here. That's where things get even more interesting, because we have the Magic, the Knicks, the Pistons, the Bucks, the Hawks, the Cavs. All of them are unbeaten in their respective groups. Notice, though, the Celtics, with that one loss already, that means tonight's games against the undefeated Cavaliers, it'll be crucial if they want to win their East Group C. And here's Donovan Mitchell this morning at Shoot Around.
It's only been 15 games. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're not winning any championships today and tomorrow. So just how do we just use this as building blocks? But, you know, enjoy the ride too. Like, you know, we understand that we're doing something historic, so not to, you know, kind of discredit that, but also understand like it's a long season. We got plenty of time, and just continue to play good basketball.
So the 15-0 Cavs, they'll put that undefeated record to the test in Boston, going up against the defending champs. And who will be at that game? Why, our Tim Bontemps, of course, who joins us now. And we just heard Tim from Donovan Mitchell on his mindset today. But how do his teammates feel going into this one?
Well, it's interesting, Malika. You heard Donovan Mitchell there give a very measured approach, as you would expect for a guy who's a veteran who's been in a bunch of playoff series in his career, about what this game means tonight. But I thought it was interesting that Evan Mobley, the young forward for the Cavaliers who signed a max contract this summer, he made it clear that he wants this game to be a statement for them to show that the Cavs can be true contenders and that this opening start to the season, when they've gone 15-0 and had one of the best starts in the history of the league, that it isn't a fluke and that at the end of the season, when the Cavs get to the playoffs, they will be a team that can be considered a legitimate championship threat. And the irony of Mobley saying that is if the Cavs are going to be that kind of team, it's going to be because he and Darius Garland continue to play with the aggression, particularly on the offensive end, that they have through the opening month of the season. That's been the biggest change this year from last. Kenny Atkinson, the new coach, has come in. He's put a bunch of confidence into both Mobley and Garland, got them playing very aggressive and free, a lot of freedom to attack in the open court, to get downhill and score in the paint. And that's been a big part of what's allowed the Cavs to not only get off to a great start, but have Donovan Mitchell play fewer minutes than he has at any point in his career, as they hope to have him ready to go in the playoffs and make a much deeper playoff run than they did a year ago when they lost to the Celtics in the second round.
So that's the Cavaliers side of all of this. Tim, before we let you go, Kristaps Porzingis, he practiced yesterday for the first time this season. Where is he at in terms of his recovery, and what are the next steps for him?
Well, this is a big moment, Malika, that Kristaps Porzingis came back and practiced with the Maine Celtics at Boston's practice facility yesterday. This is the first time he went through any sort of full practice since having that surgery on the tendon in his ankle back in the off season after he came back and had that memorable return in the NBA Finals. And Porzingis is on track to come back sometime, I think, in the next few weeks. He's going to continue to practice. He went through yesterday's practice without any issue. I told Ramona Shelburne earlier this season he could be back sometime in December. And to me, him coming back on the court in mid-November, obviously it gives him several weeks of ramp-up time. Could see him back sometime in the next month or so. And for a team that's already one of the best records in the league and is rolling along on offense, to get Kristaps Porzingis back, to be able to throw the ball into him to post and also have him be another three-point shooting threat and just be yet another weapon for the defending champions to get back on the court.
A couple of weeks for Kristaps Porzingis. Timmy Goodtimes, it was a good time. Thank you very much. Let's check in with Chiney Ogwumike for her keys to the game.
It's time for Chiney's checklist, and this time we're checking out why these two teams are the beasts of the East. Now, number one on my checklist, what is it? 3-point shooting. The undefeated Cavaliers are shooting 42% on three-pointers, which leads the NBA. Now, on the flip side, though, the Celtics are leading the league in threes made at almost 19 a game, and also threes attempted with 51. Both are on pace to be the most in any season in NBA history. All right, number two on my list. Let me be Vanna Black for a moment. Here we go. Depth. Yeah, you like that, Wendy? Depth is key for the Cavs and also their new coach, Kenny Atkinson, as no player for Cleveland averages more than 31 minutes per game. And you know what's crazy? 10 Cavs players are averaging at least 17 minutes per game. You see the number right there. But for Boston, it's a little different. They have Peyton Pritchard, who is the heavy favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year. He's having a career season so far, 15 points per game off of the bench. But at the end of the day, my last checklist, check mark, has to go to the game changers. Both of these teams have dynamic duos, and I want to show you exactly how they're getting it done. Starting with the Cavs. Did y'all see this move? It's nasty. Don, oh, this is a sham, God. Don is shooting 42% from three, a career high mark, but he's doing it with flash and with flair. But what I like is the balance in this backcourt. Darius Garland is excellent getting downhill. What is he shooting percentage-wise when it comes to the entire floor? 52%. So that's one side of the equation. On the other side in Boston, I like the expansion of these guys' game. This duo right here. Jason Tatum is averaging a career high in assists per game, almost at 6. But then also is Jaylen Brown. But these guys combined for 55 points per game. Look at him being able to read, to go past the cutter, to find the shooter in the corner. Now, the crazy thing, Malika, Wendy, and Perk, is that these two teams are also top 10 defensively. So this matchup is literally as close as it gets.
It's going to be really interesting to see the starting backcourt battle this out for these two teams. That's something I'm certainly going to be keeping an eye on here. I want to bring Perk back into the conversation if we could. Which team, Perk, when you're looking at Boston, when you're looking at Cleveland, two teams we've talked about as being the best in the NBA right now, who can make the bigger statement tonight, do you think?
Well, I mean, how can the champs make a statement? They're the champs. They're the defending champs in the Boston Celtics, right? The Cavs are the ones that need to make a statement, and this should be a statement game for them to make, right? When you think about everything that they've been through, getting a new coach, wondering if Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland could coexist. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, they're both balling right now. And it's going to be interesting, Malika, you brought it up. I'm looking at the backcourt, right? I'm looking at Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, and I'm saying, hey, how are y'all going to match up and what are y'all going to do offensively against the best defensive perimeter guys in the league and Derek White and Drew Holiday. Can y'all still go out there and put up numbers against those guys? Because that's going to be the key. At the end of the day, I think Cleveland check all boxes, but anytime you're going against the defending champs, you got to make a statement, not only to the rest of the world and the rest of the league, but make it for yourself as well to know that you could compete or actually beat those guys.
I don't know. I think this is kind of a free roll for the Cavs. First off, they're a little banged up. They got 3 role players who are questionable for tonight, and a fourth, Dean Wade, is out for the game. They're in Boston. The Celtics are really highly motivated to win this game because they've already got a home loss in the NBA Cup. You know, they're favored to win the game. The one weakness that the Cavs have is that they're not great defending the 3. They're 28th in the league in 3-point percentage defense. You know the Celtics are going to poke at that tonight. Like, if the Cavs win this, I realize they're trying to have this record start and it would be amazing, but the Celtics are favored, Perk. This is a game for them, not a game for Cleveland. Cleveland would be pulling an upset.
This is absolutely a game for Cleveland. I'm a little surprised.
There you go.
Thank you. That is absolutely a game. Park, no. Park,
Cavs win, it's an upset.
If the Cavs win, I mean, the thing is we're judging Boston when it comes to the playoffs being able to repeat. We're judging Cleveland to see if they can play against the best of the best. And this, Perk, you're not off of this yet because you didn't mention Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Those are the guys that have to show growth. Okay, I got it. Those are the guys that can show growth. I keep bringing this up because it was seared into my brain. When Evan Mobley was without Donovan Mitchell and a couple of key players in the playoffs last year, he upped his game. He brought that confidence into this year. And now he has a coach that believes in him. We'll see what that looks like with the rest of his team. Jarrett Allen, question, okay, can our bigs go out there and guard on the perimeter? To me, if I'm a coach, I'm saying let's accept the challenge. Let's figure out if we can do that. And that's the opportunity that this game presents.
Just so you know, if the Celtics lose tonight, they're pretty much out of the NBA Cup.
Right.
But they want the real cup.
And if
not the real, the other cup.
Go ahead, Perk.
I don't know, Wendy. I don't know if the Celtics actually care about winning the in-season tournament.
Did you see how they started the season?
Cup.
They're going to care tonight. You know, maybe they won't care if they get down 0-2. They're not going to.
The Cavaliers,
in the corner,
they're trying to go for the second longest win streak, to stand alone as the second longest win streak in NBA history if they win tonight. And fun fact, Shanae, against the Boston Celtics, do you know who averages the most points per game in NBA history?
The Cleveland Cavaliers?
Player, Michael Jordan. Second, Donovan Mitchell.
Whoa.
In NBA history, only Michael Jordan averages more points a game against the Boston Celtics than Donovan Mitchell does.
Wow.
The Celtics, they are, though, 5.5-point favorites tonight over the undefeated.
Thank you for watching so far. Leave your comment below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any detail. A hug and see you next time.